So I grew up in a small seaside town in England called Worthing, and Worthing was blessed with a theatre which stars came to. And so I grew up with a great love of theatre, but I was extremely shy, and I was the kid who, when asked to stand up, would shake. I was so nervous. Well, if you want to have an adventurous life, adventure isn't going to come to you, Allcroft. You've got to go out and find it. My mother said to me, I think you should, whatever your dreams are, you need to do something that can earn you money. And at the time, I was told I wasn't clever enough to go to university. So I went to Tech College in Worthing and did a secretarial. At that time, BBC Television took university graduates. So here I was with my education. I've been told it was never going to be worth me going to university, and a certificate in shorthand and typing, but a love of writing stories. And I got the job straight in there on the production team, and I just learnt so much. I was sent on all sorts of different courses, you know, how to shoot a film, all sorts, writing. But very early on, the woman who was the editor of this show, Blue Peter, she said, I think where you should be regularly writing for this show is with stories. And so I was the one who would write the stories about Captain Kidd or The Mystery of the Marie Celeste. I was offered a job by them to stay and become a career lady at the BBC, and I really didn't want that, so I took a huge gamble and left. I was very broke, but I came up with an idea for a TV show. I thought, what must it be like if you, at home, on your own, with nobody to talk to, if you're like a young woman with a baby, and I came up with an idea for a show. It was an early, what called people show, with audiences and mixed staff and the audience participating and so on, which was a huge success. And it was just about having this idea of having adventures and having to create them for myself, and also the beginning of what became wanting to help make people happy and have a great time. And I had just finished a stint up in a wonderful town in the north of England called Newcastle, because of this need to still go out there, even though I had these two young children. We were very, very short of money, and so I needed to go wherever I could to get a job. And I got another job with the Central Office of Information, which was a sort of propaganda arm of the government, in which you made these 5-minute films on all sorts of subjects. And one of the assignments that I was given was this book was put on my desk called A Guide to the Steam Railways of Britain. And it had a foreword by the Reverend W.V. Awdry, author of the Railway series of books. Now, I had actually never read these books when I was little. I don't think I'd even seen them. But what I did was fall in love with the illustrations, and I asked Wilbert to come and be a part of this. And I said, Wilbert, has anyone ever talked to you about bringing these stories to life? And he said, oh, well, I think one time Andrew Lloyd Webber thought about it, but then nothing happened. He invited me down to Stroud, which is in the west country of England, and I met his wife, Margaret Awdry, who I will always credit I think, with her massive support of me, and they agreed. So it was the illustration that most inspired me of Thomas, and I had a very clear idea how I wanted this world to look on the screen. It would be three-dimensional and give every little child the feeling that they could step into this world. Stop frame wasn't the world that I wanted. It wasn't going to do what I needed to do. Somebody said to me, you need to see a commercial, and it was a commercial for a yogurt pot bobbing around in the sea. And the director turned out to be David Mitton. And I knew, because I said to him, I don't see a yogurt pot, and I don't see an ocean. I see Thomas steaming along on the tracks. So we called it live action model animation. That's how we shot Thomas. And it went on television with Ringo Starr as storyteller, whose voice I'd heard on a TV show. Our goal was to create mini movies. Every single classic Thomas and Friends story was shot on film. I also wanted to have a great, because I've always loved working with musicians, and that's how I met Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell, and how they came to score all the classic series of films.
I should have collected Mr. Conductor.
James is right, little Thomas. Collecting Mr. Conductor is an important job. Important is big. James is a big engine. You, Thomas, are small. Small, 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 teeny, weeny, weeny.
The US came calling. It was Rick Sigelco, who was then working for WNET in New York, and he knew that I didn't want to see the Thomas series buried at some early hour, like 6 a.m. And it was thanks to him that together he and I went into a room without windows and created a whole new world, which was Shining Time in the Indian Valley.
Hello, Shining Time Station Manager Stacy Jones speaking.
And it became a big hit and won lots of awards. And that's how I came to suddenly find myself spending lots of times in the States. And of course Ringo's involvement added a kind of gleam to the series. And so we had our pick of wonderful writers and actors who were working on Broadway and so on. This incredible team that came together, first in New York and then when we moved up to Toronto. And when we were working it was serious stuff, but we just had so much fun together.
If Diesel has unfinished business, there's sure to be trouble right around the corner.